It's Friday. It's time for another truck news recap. Woohoo! Yeah. Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, new to the channel. Welcome. I like to do these truck news recaps once a week where I talk with you, the audience, about some stories that didn't quite make a full video or an article, whatever. So if you like this kind of stuff, stick around, subscribe. Yeah, do all the like button, all kind of stuff we have to do these days. But I have some interesting details for you. I just got fun with one of my sources, and I have some details for the Toyota Tacoma transmission. I also have a Ford Do Not Drive notice that we'll talk more about. And Lincoln Navigator made its debut with a massive screen. Massive. So let's first talk with this. This is making the rounds on the internet. If you're listening to the podcast, well, I'll walk you through it. So it's a tech tip. It's TT-0758 slash or hyphen 24. It says torque converter required during transmission replacement with debris. And it's a screenshot that some gentleman took. This is an internal document. It says, in replacing transmission, if debris is found in the pan, it is required to also replace the torque converter. If the torque converter is not replaced, then remaining debris may be introduced to the replacement transmission. Recommendations: replace the torque converter and transmission using the appropriate repair manual. This tech tip doesn't contain any link references. So it says 2024 Tacoma is applicable vehicles as well. So what this is saying is, hey, if there's a problem and you're changing transmission, make sure you change torque converter. People have lost their minds over this. I've seen some forum posts, see some stuff. It's really an interesting tech tip. So I called a source who runs a major dealership, and he talked to his master tech of 40 years. Master tech. Congratulations, man. That's a lot of time doing wrenches. And he looked at this, and he's pretty well versed with Toyota's language and Toyota tech tips. He's like, So if you replace transmission, if you have to, replace torque converter. That's all it's saying. It's not saying that all the transmissions are bad because they have debris in the transmission, which is what people have jumped to conclusions on. It's just saying if you happen to have a need to possibly change transmission, make sure you change torque converter as well. Now, I also spent some time talking with him, and we had a great conversation this morning, and he shared some more details in that the Tacoma, they haven't seen the issues with automatic transmissions. They've seen some issues with manual transmissions, which I've talked about before in other videos. And he said it basically was a problem with linkage, and it just kind of got goofy when it first came out, and they fixed a lot of those. So the Tacoma transmission is fine. Yeah, there's a few first ones that had a problem with the manual with some linkage. Those are getting replaced. I think last count, NHTSA had a count of like 12, out of all the Tacomas they bought or built so far. So that's not a big deal. So really all they're saying with tech tip is, hey, again, if you happen to need to possibly replace transmission, replace torque converter. Now, I also have some interesting details on the Tundra recall in that nobody really knows how many parts are going to be replaced. That's been a new conversation online. I mean, we've had conversations about how much it's going to cost. It's going to cost them a lot of money on a retail level, maybe not so much a wholesale level, and we'll never know true cost because corporations don't get that out. But I was talking to Toyota's PR team, and they don't have a list yet of what the entire replacement engine is going to be. There's been some speculation that turbochargers will be replaced as well. And what I'm going with right now is anything that has touched the oil will be replaced. I think that is probably the safest way to say that. So turbos do use oil in cooling them. So I don't know if it's a separate one or it's combined. I can't remember how that all system works, but anything that the oil touched that might have engine debris in the oil, you'll have a new replacement part for that. So that's why I have for you the Tundra news and Tacoma news. So again, sorry to throw cold water on people. They're thinking, this is it. This is the holy grail. This is the silver bullet. Okay, stop reading so much into it. All it says is if you happen to replace transmission, make sure you replace torque converter too. Another story came out was Ford has told 750,000, bigger number than 75,000, 750,000 Ford owners to stop driving their Mustangs and Ranger pickups and park it immediately. Stop driving these. What's the deal? Oh my gosh. Well, what this is the Takata airbag recall came out, I don't know, it's been 4 or 5 years now. Takata was the world's largest manufacturer of airbags. They screwed up their testing. They lied. They did a bunch of bad things. And they have shrapnel that's in the airbag. So if the airbag deploys, the shrapnel, well, it can kill you. So they be replacing these as fast as they can. However, when you have just the biggest manufacturer of airbags has to replace all their line and remanufacture them all, it's taking a long period of time. Ford is telling these owners, look, this is a serious problem, guys. We need you to park your vehicle and bring it in for repair immediately. So the Ford has advisory, do not drive, park it immediately, then work on getting it repaired. They're trying to make these owners like say, hey, stop screwing around with this, get it fixed today. So that's what this is about. It's got a lot of people like online making a lot of chatter about it. And really all they're saying is, look, come on, don't do stupid. Go to dealership, get it fixed, and move on. Now, what else is going on the website on pickuptrucktalk.com? We have the Toyota Tundra changes come out this week. Also, Sequoia gets a 1794 package. Small change there with those guys as well. I also there's a little more details coming out here and there. I'm following along. The Tundra doesn't have the cream interior anymore. Thank God. It was terrible on that cream interior. Now it's all black and they're blackening things out, so it should hold up better. Next gen Lincoln Navigator revealed. Jill, what's up? Managing editor. 5 things you need to know. First thing is new design, new sheet metal on the outside. You can see the new kind of bow tie look thing that Lincoln's got going on. We have the split open liftgate. So she said Land Rover reminds me of a little Land Cruiser too, where you have a small door that comes down. You basically have 2 hatches, one big hatch, one small hatch. And what's nice about that hatch that goes down is you can move things in and out a little bit easier as far as you set things in and you push it. Now, people have gone back and forth on this, whether they like it or not. It's just, it's one of those things. So there's also a open on approach feature, which operates like the smart trunk on the Hyundai Kia Genesis vehicles or the new AutoSense liftgate on the James Acadia. So basically, you stand behind the vehicle, the key on your person for 4 seconds before it auto opens. It's a handy thing. So imagine your arms are full, you walk up to the vehicle, and it opens the back end for you. That's nice. I think so. The immersive display. So we'll get to that. I have a picture of it right here. So it's a, what is it? 48-inch display. It was introduced on the Lincoln Nautilus, and Jill and I talked about this quite a bit. And she said to me that it is not distracting. It actually goes right where the dash is. It's just all of a sudden the screen goes all the way across, but it doesn't go so much higher that you're looking at it all the time. It's just one big massive screen. So it's interesting. The steering wheel's a little bit different too. It's more of the squircle. Yeah, this is a new term for me. It's a square circle. And the idea is you can lower the top of the steering wheel down and you can see over top of it a little bit easier. So the big screen is not distracting, and the squircle. It really is a term. There's Lincoln Nautilus or Lincoln Digital Experience. There's also using Google Maps. It's got a lot of Google built into that. Turn signal view and other tech. The 48. It's details. In addition to 14 USB ports, the next gen SUV will get standard Blue Cruise hands-free driving. Then it becomes a feature you have to pay for, subscription-based feature. Available 28-speaker Revel Ultima 3D premium audio system and a turn signal view. So the turn signal view on the Hyundai and Kias and Genesis was like where the tachometer would be and the speedometer. If you turn left or right, it would actually show a camera of what's around that corner. It's fairly handy. The powertrain's the same. It's the same 3.5-liter V6 twin turbo. It does have the higher output version of this, 440 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. 4-wheel drive is standard, and I guarantee you that thing uses premium fuel only. It's going to be a 6 or 7 or 8 seater with ultimate luxury. There's another thing they talked about was a digital experience, a digital scent experience. So they're trying to make this into this oasis. So you go in this thing, you have Matthew McConaughey talking over your ear, you're sitting back there, you recline the seats, and here is this oasis that you can get your vehicle. Okay. There's Navigator Black Label as well, and you see those photos on the screen. So they have the front has a LED line that goes, looks like all the way across, looks like LED. Could just be a white line. On the back, they wrapped the brake lights all the way through the rear end as well. So kind of unique look. I like it. Bigger tires, all the kind of stuff you're expecting. I'd expect this to go on sale later on in the year, and pricing and mile per gallon will come out later on. I would imagine mile per gallon is going to be the same as the prior generation because there is no powertrain changes. There you go. There's the new Lincoln Nautilus. No, Lincoln Navigator. They name all the same. Navigator, Nautilus, Navigator. All right, let's get to the forum. I want to show you the forum off real fast. There's been some conversation going on this morning over there. If you haven't been over there, check it out. I had somebody ask me what my dream article or video would be, which I thought was an interesting question. And basically, it's interviewing people. I really enjoy it. And I love to interview a celebrity. I love to interview an engineer who retired and get it, look back kind of interview. I just find those things pretty interesting. So that was my answer to that question this morning. Over on YouTube channel, what's going on this week? Let's see. We got a couple things going on. First of all, YouTube's doing this thing called Members First. They show a notification on the screen. They're trying to get more membership. I've had some people argue with me a little bit about this. There are members on the channel who get earlier access. It's one of the things they asked me for. I created membership tiers, and that's what you have. So there's a four-wheeler review I have coming out this Saturday. The four-wheeler review is the Sportsman 570 Trail. Really cool thing in that video. I flew my drone and stuff. There's like a minute of really cool footage if you guys want to check that out. We have the Toyota RAV4. I did have that review. The Lexus UX, the one you probably forgot about. I actually forgot about it myself. Jill did a video on the Honda Ridgeline in the city. It's pretty interesting how well it doesn't do in the city. How bad it is. It's interesting. Let's see. We have the Mazda CX-50 I did as far as the off-road Mazda. That's a very interesting take on a Mazda. I don't know how I feel about that one. And then we have the Tundra updates with massaging seats, colors, features, price, and price hike. The price hike, actually, my friend TRD or Tundra Dude 34, Mark, he pointed out that the Limited does not get a double cab anymore. It's only crew cab only. That's why the price is so much more on a Limited. That was a really interesting insight. And then we have the GMC Terrain went live, and we have the road trip. I did a road trip with the loaded 2024 Chevy Suburban, and then we're coming down to the Chevron. The Chevron discussion with a couple experts talking about what Chevron's going to mean, what's going to mean for the auto industry, and why it's the biggest change in 40 years is quite the video. It's getting some traction, and it's interesting. And people's comments on there are really interesting as well. So lots of good details on the YouTube channel. Sit back on your Saturday or whatever you want to do and watch some videos. Just don't tell me you binge watch me. I feel like that's a little creepy. Don't you think it's a little creepy? Just weird. All right, there you go. That is this week's Truck News Recap. For more, check the videos up over here. Website down below as well. pickuptrucktalk.com. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.